Good to see you all. And also Deb and Leona. Oh, wow, I see some ex-participants in my training. That makes my nervous just jumping through the roof because I know they know me. So they will be not critical. They know what I'm going to tell. Oh, wow. But it's so lovely to see you. So we're going to have today an amazing session, in my opinion. I think I spent the most time of all my presentations on this one because I really wanted to deliver something now really great for you. And with the strong statement, and people will just keep on joining in. Artificial intelligence just took your head brain's job. What's now? What now? And the tagline: how to become irreplaceable. How can we actually do our beautiful job and stay somewhere an added value for our clients? Because we can. Let's start with that. Let's start positive. I'm not here for a negative story and doom scenario that we all are going to be extinct. Absolutely not. You know, who am I? In 2 seconds, my name. I'm a master.
It almost seems it might have crashed into the lamppost, I comment. Maybe what Barclay suggested is right. He's never right, Marino snipes.
I think Diana has a TV.
So I muted everybody. Sorry, that was the easiest click for me because I know that somebody had some background noise there. And I thought if I start trying to find out who is there. So if you don't have background noise, one thing beforehand, you can just unmute yourself. For me, I'm not going to give you a lecture like on the MBA and I say to every student, shut up. The professor is talking. This is much more, I see so many professionals around me. Let's use our beautiful experience and brains in there. Eh? If you have a question in between, if you agree, disagree, or like to say something else, please do so. You can also, of course, put it in the chat, because I'm not here to give the 100% wisdom. I'm going to give you my wisdom based on all my research. As I said, I'm a master certified coach. I'm the founder of 3 Brains Intelligence Academy. Already 30 years in leadership and coaching. I'm also a therapist, a clinical therapist. So I've seen both sides of the world. And I'm also assessor for, say, people who like to become an ACC, PCC, or an MCC coach or a mentor. And actually, I started a long time ago with Capgemini after my studies in software and in design. So actually, I love what's happening now. And that makes me somewhere also a person who can tell something about it and share something about it. So what is the truth? And I checked it right away with Claude, ChatGPT, and Grok. So 90% of what we sometimes call coaching, artificial intelligence already can do. And what I mean with this is ask beautiful questions. Reflects perfectly, summarizes with precision. And in between, who of you never used artificial intelligence of now? Who never used ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, or one of the others? Who's totally blind in this? Please put it in the chat, so at least we know we have some people who are in there. Because if nobody responds, it means you all use it already, so you know that this can actually happen with artificial intelligence. I see Jorg already nodding, and I think everybody who's not native in English already used artificial intelligence to make a beautiful English presentation. This that I did. I asked also Claude, because I'm a Claude fan, although I also use Grok and ChatGPT, give me really the details in the grammar here. So if there are still there, then we can now blame Claude. Because I did not check it anymore, because I'm not native. Anyhow, this is what Claude can do, because you can just ask, Claude, give me some questions, because this is my topic, give me some questions so I can have a reflection. Claude or ChatGPT does it perfectly. It reflects and it summarizes. What it also does, great, is it reframes patterns. It can see it matches language and pace. And by the way, this is amazing, and this is what we are not probably 24/7 available. It's extremely patient, and it is free. And free we can discuss because Claude has a maximum, and if you use, say, Opus 4.7, that's the most advanced, You can really pay a lot of more money for it. But I don't know how it's with you, but what I love of artificial intelligence is that it is so patient. If I get upset, it just responds really naturally. I can hear you are upset now. Then I think, oh, wow, okay, good. And most times faster than humans. And so it mimics us partly. And there already are some programs that say there are, say, coaching programs in AI. I'm not willing to put them in here now because then we go in those programs. But I can tell you, it does good things, but it is really hard. I trained my Claude 4.7 in the core competencies of ICF. I uploaded my transcripts of coaching and of training. So it learned from me what I do. Oh yes, Michelle also used it. Michelle, yes, great use that. So Claude knows me and knows my coaching. But there is a huge difference, and I think now I'm going to maybe shake up some people. There's a massive difference between cognitive coaching and transformational coaching. And for me, this is the gift that artificial intelligence brings to us. Because we have to create an upgrade of ourselves. As once Marshall Goldsmith said, what brought us here will not bring us there. And this is the moment for us. This is actually where we always coach our clients on. Oh yeah, all the things you had up to now brought you here in this position. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to coach you to get there. And actually, artificial intelligence is doing now the same with us. The only thing is we don't get paid for it. We don't pay artificial intelligence for doing it. It does it all for free and just annoys or makes us totally happy. But I see it as a gift. So what will end? The cognitive surface, the question asking, the reframing, the tools. At least it will not disappear. But everybody who uses artificial intelligence, and that's already more than 800 million people on this world. And if you then would look, say, at the development world, that means more than 75%. And of all the professionals in the world, massively use it. And so, because you can go into Claude or to a ChatGPT and ask, hey, can you do blah, 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 blah for me? And it gives you beautiful answers. What will really emerge much more, in my opinion? The biological depth, the presence, the regulation, the sensing. And what do I mean with this? Now, have you ever walked into a room and you immediately felt that something just happened in the room with the people there? You sensed it. You picked up an atmosphere. It was or happy or maybe tense or maybe, I don't know, different. Who of you experienced that? And who of you is totally oblivious for that? Because then we have an issue. No, I'm not. I'm not raising that. Because what you just described, what is that? This is unique, eh? This is what artificial intelligence never can do. Yes, I've got a presentation of some extremely whiz kids or whiz men and women from Deloitte and from the Big Fours, what AI can do. And it has, say, cameras and other kind of things and other kind of tools that sense. So it senses the temperature, the humidity. It can do eye tracking movements and all this kind of stuff. But still, it's a physical observing. It's not the sensing what we talk about in my word of sensing. And by the way, just for you, besides that I'm an MCC coach and a clinical therapist, I'm also an NLP master, but much more important, I'm also a Reiki master. And I did massive somatic training. So, and I also studied kinesiology. So the energy systems we have as human beings is impossible for the AI to measure. So this is where we can make the difference, and we go further on that. If you have questions in between, just shoot. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but if you're an ICF member, then you saw last year new core competences or updated core competence coming in. Are you aware of it? They have updated core competences? If not, start asking it, because I was part of it because I did a revision last year in Paris with 12 other or 11 other MCCs. It was a beautiful experience to be there. And we created 5 new sub-competences. We revisited some other ones. And actually, if you went through it, and we had to go through it, it was already stating in ICF, where in the old days it was powerful questions as a core competence, using tools, frameworks, cognitive reframing, goal setting, structuring, pattern analysis. What you see in the new core competences, it's cultivating trust and safety. Cultivating trust. How do you do that? That's really a whole body experience. Maintaining presence. How do you do that? Comfortable with not knowing. Now, I don't know if you know artificial intelligence. That's not so core competence because it likes to know. That's one of its features. Silence and reflection. Space for that. That means that silence in between the words or sentences. What we can pick up or not. And what the client is and actually what is not saying. So it's already putting in the core competences that we, quote, quote, have to know that or master that. It should be taught. So I'm not saying it by myself. ICF is already supporting this transition. Now we come back where we make the real difference. And Leona, Georgka, and I know somebody else was also in my training who was there, and she dropped out of my video. Debbie is also there. You know already what I'm going to say now. When I talk about 3 biological intelligence. You know what it is, eh? Georgka, Leona, let's do the test. Georgka, what is it?
Yeah, the head, the gut, and the heart.
Leona, content for you. Leona is an amazing coach and also a medical coach living in Beirut. So she always deserves all my support because what she endured the last 2 years is also amazing, and how she's still smiling to us.
And
so,
despite all of the war, I'm here.
Yes. So scientifically, it's proven we have something more than AI. And we are a whole human. If you read the book, The Body Keeps the Score, from Bessel van Kolk, or did some medic training, or maybe some in NLP, you will hear it, or even in the Enneagram, head, heart, gut. You heard this, but actually biology, science proves it is scientifically true. We have a brain in the head. We all know that. Although sometimes we are brainless, we don't use it too much. We have it here, 40 billion neurons. And what is the objective of it? I will not go into the whole science of it now. What it likes to do, and that's why we have so much memory, it likes to predict. Because if you know what happened yesterday, if you know what the client is, you can predict what you should do. And prediction makes us more successful. And it can operate across time. It's the only part of our body that knows the past and the future. And it is the logical brain we have. It is not an emotional brain. And its core question is it logical? What comes next? What can we do with it? How does it work? It likes to analyze and predict. Then already in 1994, Dr. Amour, a neurocardiologist, proved we have at least 40,000 brain cells in our heart. And they're not for operating of the brain, they're actually for different kind of roles. And we became aware in all the research also from heart math, the heart is where, now, let's ask the question, where do you feel love, dear people? Where do you feel that? In your head, your heart, or in a part that some men believe that is love? We feel it in our heart, isn't it? Yes. And why do we feel it in our heart? Because actually your heart can release oxytocin. And oxytocin is actually the love hormone, the bonding hormone. Besides in the amygdala there. Your heart is your connector. Your heart is where your values live. What is good, what is right. It's also the brain that has a fear of being rejected and does everything to be accepted and to bond. Because where do you feel rejection? In your heart. Eh? Where do you feel grief? In your heart. Do you know the sentence, I have a broken heart? What does it mean? Nobody says, I have a broken head because my ex runs away with me. But we say we have a broken heart. For a reason. Scientifically proven we have that. And the third one, as Leonie said, it's a gut. The book was written by Michael Gershon, Dr. Michael Gershon in 1998, The Second Brain, 500 million brain cells, that's somewhere the size of a dog brain. And actually it is our oldest brain, already 500 million years ago when we came to this world. This brain was somewhere developed. It is actually our digestive system. And every cell in our body, every independent cell, every bacteria is actually built up as a digestive system. Nutrition comes in, waste material goes out. And of course it does something. And our gut is there for survival, action, to do, to win. It's winning or losing. It means I eat or I don't eat. I escape or I become lunch. I reproduce or I don't reproduce. It's black and white. It's yes or no. And it operates in milliseconds. And the core question is, am I safe? And will I succeed? Will this succeed? Will I win? Will I be happy? Yeah? And what I mean with succeeding, if you are a deer in Africa, succeeding means you can run faster than the lion. Succeeding for the lion means you run faster than a deer. That's actually how we're all built up. And those three can decide independently. They have a memory system and they can make independent decisions. And if you don't believe me, who of you ever fell in love with the wrong partner and your parents and your friends already knew? Am I now the only one? Oh, Fjorka, thanks. I'm not the only one. And it is because we followed our heart. And your heart makes an independent decision. Hey, by the way, I got some divorces behind my name, so I know how it is. I'm a slow learner. And your gut can also independently, because sometimes you're fearful for something, although it doesn't make sense. Who of you have a fear for spiders, or a fear for heights, or a fear of those fears? They are totally not logical. But your gut is still anxious about it. I've got a girlfriend who woke me up because there was a spider of something like 0.5 centimeter in her bedroom. And she let me not sleep because she said, oh, that's good. It will eat the mosquitoes. That was a logical, good answer. Probably you know how it ended, eh? I had to get out of my bed, get rid of the spider before I could go to bed again. It's not logical, but the fear is real. And that's what our gut brain does. Now, having said this, let's now go back to our beautiful artificial intelligence. Because this is actually, if you know this, it gives you the insight how we can change. By the way, we all, who of you did not do the 3 brains dominance test on my website? It was actually in the invite, but if you didn't do it, oh shame on you, Ariana. I see already you're moving. No, kidding. You will see I did, and that's an other presentation, will be tomorrow. I did 5,295 3 brains dominance tests up to now. I analyzed them and I came aware 97% has a dominance of 1 or 2 brains. 3% only are somewhere balanced out. And what that means, that if we don't think about it, so the Daniel Kahneman's system 1, we just decide and we act, that one of your 3 brains makes a decision. That is your head brain. Let's be logical about this. Oh, let's think how we can stay connected and how can we please people and connect with people, or hey, how's this good for me and how can I make it happen? And if you think about some precedents in the world on this moment, you can become aware that some of those precedents have a dominance of 1 brain. I will not name any names of them, but you can do the math. 3% of the professionals I tested, of the 5,295, have somewhere a balance of 3 brains. That means in their decision making, the 3 brains communicate. It doesn't mean you always follow all three, but all three speak to them. You can see it, if you like to do it metaphorically. You have three people in the room who are your advisors. One is the logical advisor, one is the emotional advisor who helps you to stay connected, and one is the winning advisor. And only one or two are allowed to talk to you. That's actually what's happening in your decision making, unless all three can talk to you. Now, coming back now to IE, what does artificial intelligence do the best? Do you know actually in which brain IE would absolutely outperform us? More head brain, heart brain, and gut brain. Where is artificial intelligence really mastering us? You can put it in the chat, you can just blur it out, whatever you like to do. In the head, absolutely, Diana. In the head brain, yes, absolutely. Your head is it. So just imagine we have 400 billion brain cells, and we already become aware that IE is smarter. It is true, because it do a language analysis, pattern recognition, cognitive reframing, behavioral pattern tectonica, summarizing. It has a massive database because it scans everything. It's almost scary after I uploaded my own things in Claude, how good he actually knows things. Know things. So I was like, oh, wow. Where do we still outperform, and we always outperform, if we are aware of it, is the heart and gut presence. The presence to bring it into the coaching. Co-regulation through the nervous system. We have mirror neurons. Everybody knows what mirror neurons are? Mirror neurons are part of our brain cells, plural, and they mirror actually the client or the person where we talk to. So they almost mirror what's happening inside us, and that helps us to give an emotional regulation and emotional insight what's happening. We can embody presence in the room, sensing what's absent or dependent, biological transmission of safety. What I mean is that the energy of our heart brain, after a boom, 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 can be measured 9 meters, some research says 3 meters outside your body. So the energy of your heart can be measured by somebody else. And if you think, how does that work? Research shows in locations where all females are living together, prison, monasteries, the period synchronizes. The emotional balance of men also synchronizes. And that's not because they say, hey, what should we do today? But the body transmits and comes aware of that. Calibration in real. And we can hold space of the not knowing. And we can deal with the fact just being there. And if you now make it important, or make this, we can, and now I'm going to be a little bit black and white. You can be in two states. Of course, you can be much more to make it black and white to explain it. Transformation coaching does not happen what you say. And what I mean is that, who of you ever changed by just saying you have to do something? Because if that's true, I'm now going to say to all of you, you have to eat really healthy, you have to sport, you have to sleep really 8 hours a day, then you become healthy. Who's now doing this for the rest of their life? Come on. This is what I mean. We know it, and probably people said to you, it doesn't happen. But if we start putting all our wisdom centers in there, it can happen. It can change. So if your three brains are aligned, that's my word aligned. If they're open, if they're aware, you can connect with them. It means, in my words, there's a curiosity in the head because it likes to learn. There is compassion in the heart because we like to connect. And there is trust in our gut, and trust in 3 states. Trust in ourselves, trust in the process, and trust in the other. 3 parts of trust. If that happens, transformation can happen. Because actually we can listen then with our whole body or with all our 3 brains, whatever you like to say. We can sense what's happening in the room. We can sense, if we enter the room, what's the atmosphere in the room, if we are aware of it. How many of you did not have a walk in the city or in the forest and came aware, oh wow, I missed actually the smell of the forest. I actually missed the sounds of the birds because I was in my head or was just thinking about something. That happens to me a lot. Actually, then we are not aware. And that's a great skill if you like to focus. It's really unhandy if you really like to coach with the whole person you are. Okay? So biologically, it makes sense we can do both. Only we have to choose when we do it. When we are not in there, then we use mainly our dominant brain. We are too logical, we are over-empathic, or too pushy. Too logical means, I hear you say this, but it does not really make sense. Let's really put it in an Excel sheet and see what the pros and cons, and based on the pros and cons and the parameters we put in that, we can make a decision. Empathic is we like to rescue the client, we like to please the client, we like to overcare the client, etc. And to push it means, now, okay, it's now 3 sessions. I don't know how many times I have to ask you this question or explain to you. When are you really going to learn? That is, by the way, sometimes what I like to say to a client, but it's not allowed. I am aware. Or not smart. Well, but this is, by the way, fun. Okay. You know, the funny part is, when I tested it with Claude and also with ChatGPT, IE can actually replicate the words I'm just saying. But it cannot replicate the state. It cannot fill in what to say and not to say. And now let's do something. Let's make this really practical, because now I've been talking enough. The people who did my training say, hey, become aware of this. It sounds familiar. Yes, it sounds familiar. So and now is where we all become interactive. So we pull up the sleeves. Let's become coaches. Imagine you have a discovery call with a prospective client. And of course, we are amazing coaches. So we start, welcome to this discovery call. From my side, I will support you fully to get the best possible value of this conversation today for you. Sounds good, isn't it? Say yes, please, because I wrote it down. Okay, thank you so much. And now the client responds. Yeah, thanks. I've done coaching before, so I'm curious how this would be different. Oh. Okay, what does artificial intelligence notice? What do we notice? AI notices comparisons of language. Hey, differentness. It comes where, hey, the word curious. Maybe it says, hey, there's possible skepticism because I've done coaching before. I'm curious what's happening here. Evaluations of mindset. Past coaching context implied. Excellent linguistic analysis. What could we do if we are really amazing and our 3 brains are active? We can come aware of the hesitation before the thanks. We can see a little slight contraction in the posture. And probably become aware of the change of intonation in my breathing. You saw my eye movements. And maybe even sense the emotions like protection, annoyance, or frustration of anger when I expressed my sentence. And Ariana says, yes. I said, oh, wow, I don't like to coach you anymore. Kidding, Ariana. Good that you noticed this. And maybe we sense the need of the client in this conversation. If we are really, our 3 brains are active, we can become aware of that. And that's where we could outperform. And now becomes fun. Now I really like to have your input there. Now the client continues and says, as said, I've done coaching before there. Most coaches just ask questions and nothing really changes. By the way, who of you ever heard this remark of a coachee? I have to say many times I heard this, by the way. Especially, I have to say, when I did my recordings for a long time ago for PCC or MCC, and I really want to do PCC coaching, that one of my clients said, Chris, you're just like the previous coach I sacked. If you keep on doing this, I really have to sack you. I was really asking all the questions according to the core competencies. So how could we respond? And how will AI respond? I made some examples there. So I know with all the coaches here, with the 50 coaches we get 50 responses. So I made some assumptions in head, heart, gut, and combined. And I'm just asking you, yes, Michelle, yes, And that's where we can make the difference. Thanks for sharing that, Michelle. Yeah. So I made 4 different kind of things. So say we make a logical response, head brain, you could say, I can understand that you say that. Questions should have a purpose, and questions alone are not the right path. What's a good coaching structure for you? Sounds good. If you're more from talking from the heart, it could be, thank you for sharing that with me. I can imagine it's not a nice feeling to invest in coaching that didn't deliver. I would like to understand what you actually feel different, what would actually feel different for you in this time. What do you really expect from me? Sounds also nice. Another one, the gut dominance. That sounds like a waste of your valuable time. I work differently. I focus on helping you to get where you want to be. So I need to know what's the best way for you to learn. What makes you accept a new concept and do it? It's also nice, a little bit provocative, but you bring some success idea in there. Say we integrate all 3 of them. It shows your quality, that you're so honest upfront. And I feel that you are really unsatisfied with the quality of the coaching you received. I work in a way that adjusts the way we work together to your needs. And if I may ask a question about that, what's your need from this coaching? Of course, we could make the sense maybe this, but say you had to choose between those 4. I know there are much more options. Say you had to choose. Which one would you choose? 1, 2, 3, 4. Just put them in the chat. And I know I force you to choose from the 4. Marie, oh wow, I love your name. Fire Brother. 444. 4 is the best, but 3 is really neat. Diane, when I wrote this, I think I was thinking of you and me, because I could also say that. 444. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I think we all, but naturally go to 2. I love also your answer and your honesty, Diane. It is what we think is great and what we actually do. Because now, imagine one thing, we're now sitting here watching a webinar totally at ease, maybe having a coffee or a tea, no pressure, no clients who looks at us, no invoice we have to send. So I can really reflect. But say you're in the heat of the moment. What would you do? Would you stay calm? Or maybe would you fall back in your dominant brain? Based on my research, more than 90% falls back in their dominant brain. Because we could feel that we have to defend ourselves. We could feel this is personal. We could feel we have to answer this. By the way, what does AI actually answer? Yeah, people fall back in their habit, absolutely the end. So when I asked Claude, and why I say every time Claude, I use with Claude, but 4.7 of Claude, the Opus, is the most advanced one. It's really more advanced than ChatGPT or Grok on this moment. It's just the number 1. So I asked them, based on everything I taught Claude, what would you do? And this is what it said. Now, what would I, Claude Optus 4.7, choose if I would respond to the client? So this is what he said. I just copied it in. And he said, I would choose option 1. The reason it is predictable, is statistically true, it's a safe option. Based on the statistic databases, it's the safest option for Claude to choose. And it would actually do it every time for every client like this. That was the second sentence. I said, so I asked close question, so you would not choose 2, 3, or 4? And the answer was no. I asked a close question. I trained him, just give me a yes or no answer. And that's rather interesting. Because we choose actually differently. So, and just for Diane and me, say we would take a risk. And also for Jorka, because I know she's a little bit sweeter, but still likes risk. Say we would reflect, we would do like this and force the client to reflectiveness. Wow, it shows quality that you share this with me. So upfront and frank. I hear your concern and I take it seriously. But before I bark up the wrong tree and the coaching is finished before we even start, what would you like me to do with what you just told me? And this is a response actually I could really give. Because I asked the client actually to see if he can reflect on what he actually just said. Because he did not ask a question. Eh? If you go back to the client, it just did a statement. It did not say to us, I'd like to have your opinion. What is your idea about it? How do you differently? He said it in the first question or she, but not in the sentence after that. So theoretically, we don't have to answer. Theoretically, yeah? So we could go, if you then go to the idea of the $1 trillion coach, the book written by the ex-CEO of Google, is the client actually coaching ready? Are you coachable? And actually, by this question, you'd ask him, is he coachable? Does he dare to reflect on what you just did? But this also takes a risk, because actually you put now the mirror right away in the face of the client. So that's a question. How do you, I asked this also ChatGPT and I asked it Claude, how many times do you think Claude would ever like to do this, or ChatGPT? Never. It will never do this. So do you become aware what our added value could be as coaches? We have a much bigger set of responses we can choose from than AI. And what helps us to choose? Our sensing system. What happened in those 30 seconds, 1 minute with the client? How did he or she walk into the room or in the video? What did we observe? What was the tension in the face? What did we sense or physically? When we are physically visible, how did the client enter the room? How did the client walk? What did he breathe? How did he say it while walking? Did he say it while sitting down with a coffee? What happened? By the way, we have a disadvantage. IE is extremely boring, consequent. So yesterday it does the same as today, as tomorrow, as 1 week ago. Of course, you have an update, but we'll always have the same mood. I don't know how to resume it. I have mood swings. I could be a female. And by the way, my girlfriend says, you're worse than me. I don't know if that's a compliment, by the way. But I have my mood swings. I have good days and bad days. I have my Monday morning. I had this, by the way, Monday morning mood. So my Monday morning mood could actually affect my coaching. How can we then manage that? AI is extremely stable, is extremely predictable. We are less. So on an average day, I didn't say a bad day. On an average day, we fall back to our dominant brain. I wanted to write bad day, but I thought that's why the judgmental. On a bad day, we absolutely fall back to our dominant brain. Or even worse, we fall back, say, in an annoying brain. When we can access our three brains, even a bad day becomes a great day. When I had my Monday morning mood this morning, my girlfriend said, okay, you're an NLP master, Reiki master, three brains coach master. I assume that in 2 minutes you can reset yourself and become totally great again. I love her and hate her on the same moment, I have to tell you. But she was totally right. So I put on some amazing music, had to dance and to sing, and 3 minutes later I was in the best mood ever. And it helps the client and us. Like, AI imitates empathy. Humans can really transmit trust, compassion, and curiosity. We can do that. Do you see AI putting the hand on the shoulder of somebody? Do you see AI moving your chair just a little bit closer and leaning in? Or tilting the head? Or soften the voice? Or actually change the dressing we have to adjust the client's needs? And the beauty is, if you look at biology, the vagus nerve, by the way, I talk about vagus nerve like everybody knows it. Who does not know what the vagus nerve is? Because then we have to go back at least 10 seconds. And I don't see all the hands, but what's the vagus nerve? So we have a parasympathetic and sympathetic nerve system, as we probably all know. We also have 12 cranial nerves. Those are the nerves that actually are in our head, cranial head nerves. One of them, the cranial 10, is what we call the vagus nerve. That goes not only in the head, it goes through the throat, to our lungs, to our heart, through our diaphragm, to our abdomen. It's the connector between the three brains. And that nerve, 90% of the communication goes upwards and only 10% goes downwards. It's one big, actually, influencer what happens upstairs. So biology actually shows us how we can actually use those qualities if we start listening to them. Breathing, pace, and congruent silence, none of them can be faked through text. But the question is actually, and go one back, how much or how many of us use this consciously, purposely, are aware of it during the coaching? And I dare to bet 80% of us is not. And that makes totally sense, because if we had to be aware of everything, we would get a total overload. But it helps to be aware of it, and we can train that. Now, another part, AI is not a competitor. When can we really use AI massively as a reflective partner? At least in my opinion. It can be one of the powerful tools we ever had for everything that happens after and in between sessions. What I mean is that, who of you, after a session, does a reflective session with themselves? What went great? What could I do differently? I don't see a lot of hands jumping up, by the way. I see a lot of people from, oh, yes, I should do that actually. Good question, Chris. Oh, okay, let's move on. Next slide. But here is where AI can be extremely useful. If you would transcribe or actually upload your transcript or AI, what I do, and say, hey, dear AI, you know my coaching, you know my transcripts, you know my manuals, you know everything for me. Let's do a little bit analysis, what I did. What did I do good? What do I miss? Etc. It's amazing. And by the way, it's extremely annoying, horrible good. If you don't like to see or watch the mirror, don't do this. Because if you say be brutal honest, it is brutal honest. But for me, I love it. Did I match the client's pacing? Where did I drift into my three-brain dominant state? AI can replay the linguistic dance I had. Really, if I ask those questions, I get better and better, I have to say. Even though I'm a master certified coach, yes, it's really putting the dots on the little things. I love it, and it's extremely annoying, because sometimes I think, I did an amazing coaching. Yeah. I go back to Claude or to ChatGPT and get some slaps in my face. Think, okay, it was good. I can improve. But that's actually if you like to become the best in your field. And somewhere that's my ambition. Or the best I can be, let's call it differently. There's no competition. I like the best I can be for my clients and for myself. The blind spot. What patterns am I missing in this client? Where does my own defenses distort what I hear? And that, by the way, is a really annoying question, right? Because it gives an answer. Which brain is dominant in my questions or questions? Bam, 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 bam. Chris, today you were rather sweet. You really put a lot of head brain or heart brain questions in there. Oh, yeah. Do you think that was wise? Closed question. No. Boom. Thank you. What could I have done differently? Which brains am I missing? It helps you massively. How did my interventions land, according to you? Where did I rush? Where did I miss the silence? Actually, for everybody who likes to, from ACC to PCC to MCC, or just like to improve yourself, this is amazing. By the way, don't do it for every coaching session you do, is my advice, if I would give advice, because you get totally crazy. Unless you really like to get crazy for yourself. But it is fun. Because I find it fun. This is where I see a massive advantage for AI. But not only for us, by the way, for all of our clients. Because in that part, it's beautiful analyzing what we did. You just have to feed him with, okay, what are the, he knows the core competencies in my style. So use them wisely. And for me, if you would go to the conclusions, also for another thing, the most important thing that we is which brain is actually, in my words, is missing or is silent in our coaching. And it happens to all of us. I'm teaching 3-brain coaching. I'm a 3-brain master coach. I teach 3-brain master coaching. It does not mean that all my coaching, all my 3 brains are always aware. I have to be honest in that. But it becomes better and better and better and better. Because I teach myself what to do. And what's absent? What is silent? So we can learn to do it. And also for our clients, we can analyze which brain is the client using. Let's now talk about us, but we can also put it for the client. In the client, which brain is absent? Which brain is silent? Which brain is defending? And which brain is not being invited? And so it helps us also, 3 brains awareness, to coach your clients on that, because how it helps us, it also helps the clients. And then actually, your coaching becomes phenomenal. Because the moment you know which brain is missing in the client, or not part of it, or which brain is blocking, the success elevates. If you ever ask to a client, hey, say you would just follow your heart, what would you do? Say you would just follow your gut, what would you do? You could have a massive breakthrough in 5 seconds. Or if the client says, I really don't know, then you also have a breakthrough because become aware that they cannot connect with the gut feeling or the heart feeling sensations. So let's do some a little exercise, and Leona, Georgka, and Debbie know it, but let's see if we can connect with our 3 brains. This is an experiment, so we all do it together. So the best thing is you're all muted, so that's good. So I'm going to explain what you're going to do, and then we're going to do it. So first, you put your both feet on the floor. Why is that? We like to ground. Your hands are resting on your belly, and we just start breathing in our beautiful belly. This is the moment that we can expand our belly, and we don't care if we get a bigger belly. Why is that? Because if we are anxious, most times we breathe in our chest, or maybe even in our throat or in our head. Some people, just like me, like to crack even the neck because they can be aware they're a little bit more tensed. They like to move the neck because you have tensions most times in your neck. And if you start breathing, you become aware actually that feels stiff. And then after this, I'm going to ask you 3 things. And that is, I'm going to show you first before you do it. You put 2 fingers, say, on your third eye, and you ask, and the best thing is with your eyes closed. You really connect with your head and ask, can I coach now? And just become aware what your head is saying, what you notice there. Can I coach now? My head is actually in this moment saying, no, you're doing a presentation, dickhead. He's rather rude, my head. Then you choke yourself off, you put 2 fingers on your heart and ask the same. You notice what's happening and you ask to your gut. So we're going to do it. And please, you have to speak out loud, because if you speak out loud, you use all your nerve systems, all your 3 brains. You use your cranial nerve also, and your vagus nerve. And as you all are muted, it doesn't matter. If you don't like to be seen, you put now off your camera that you don't look crazy. I'm going to do it up front. So you put your fingers on your head. You really feel your fingers on your head, on your third eye, and you say out loud, can I coach now? And you just become aware what happens in your head. What do you notice there? And on purpose, you ask a closed question because you like to have yes or no's. If you have somewhere inside, you just shake your shoulders, you take a deep breath. And you put 2 fingers on your beautiful heart. Now just wait because Ariana is still there. Her head has a whole discussion with her. That's great. So you put 2 fingers on your heart. Just take a deep breath in your belly again. You exhale, you close your eyes and ask with your fingers on your heart, to your heart, can I coach now? Just come aware what you sense in your heart area. How does it respond? What do you notice? Wow. Oh, that feels good for me, by the way. Then you shake off. You take a deep breath into 2 fingers on your gut, and it is actually 1 inch, let's say two fingers underneath your belly button. So you put 2 fingers underneath your belly button, because there's where your chi point is, your energy point. You put 2 fingers there. You close your eyes again and really feel your 2 fingers on your chi point. You really breathe into there, because for some people that's the hardest to really connect with. You really breathe into that spot. And then you ask again, can I coach now? And just come aware what you notice there. So for the people who got a response, if the answer was no or something else, you can repeat it, some breathing, some connecting with it. But I'm just curious, what did you notice? You can unmute, you can put it in the chat. Did you get the same answers? Did you get different sensations? What happened? What did you notice? Ariana, you're already talking, so I would love that you unmute because I see you're expressive. And I'm just going to invite you, otherwise everybody's silent. So sometimes you have to ask somebody up front. Julia, no head, brain still, most centered at peace at gut level. Oh, beautiful. Okay, then, Ariana, do you like to say something? Then unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself, please.
I was writing down
Oh,
what
you're
I
right.
really felt.
Sorry, I was reading, but I'm multitasking. You know, I'm a boy. How good are we?
No problem. No problem at all.
Meet you.
But I had some insights about regulation and compassion, actually thinking of a client specifically. So
Beautiful. It's nice to come aware that actually they respond in different ways. But this is actually how our 3 brains respond. I do this exercise more extended in my 3 brain coaching to really make people aware how the difference is and how you can use it for clients. Because this is the shortcut for this coaching. But if you come aware, your 3 brains can respond differently. And one of the people who are totally known with this, Fjorvka, Leona, Debbie, how was it for you? Because you know this exercise by heart and head and gut. So how was it for you? What do you dare to share? Or somebody else? Leona?
Do I speak?
Yes, please. Leona.
Yeah. Actually, as you said, Christoffel, we know this exercise from before. So alignment between the head and the heart and the gut is important when we are, working as coaches. I still have this, heart feeling when I'm asking myself whether I want to coach or not, because I coach in that niche of chronic illness, which has, a lot to do with empathy,
Yes.
with the pain of the others. So sometimes the heart is most, is the most voice that I can hear in coaching.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thanks for sharing, Leona. And I know you do amazing coaching, medical coaching. Hey, good to see you, Debbie. Now I don't see everybody in the coaching. You're going to see Debbie. Debbie, do you like to share something?
For me, it was just an affirmation. It was hard yes on all three, and excitement, like excited to engage with people. And I think I use AI quite a bit. And for me, it's a sadness around it about losing that human connection, right? So I mean, sure, you could use AI for coaching, and a lot of people probably do, but that human connection puts you, I don't know, it hurts my heart to think that would be lost.
Okay, it's so true. Yes, so true. And by the way, I see a message from Michelle Vain coming in from France. This is a great way to make decisions on any issue too. Yes, absolutely. Do it with your partner and you get an answer you maybe don't like to have. Kidding, Michelle. No, but this is a great tool because it's actually coming from kinesiology, from people here, where you actually test how your internal system connects with something. So even if you like to choose something, what will I choose? Will I choose an herbal tea or a water? Or do I choose a herbal tea or a coffee? Or what should I eat? This kind of exercise actually really help you to become better. And in my other presentations where I talk about the data of my test, that is tomorrow, I talk about interoperception and metacognition also, just short, being aware of yourself and actually knowing what it means of your awareness. And this helps you to start learning that. First, becoming aware what is actually my body saying or my three brains saying. And secondly, what does it mean what it says? And this exercise helps you a lot. And also in making decisions, it's amazing. So for me, what's the future? AI accelerates technology. And you can decide from which state you're leading from. From which brain and how you are with your moods and all this kind of stuff. Like cognitive coaching, what we discussed earlier, will be replaced quickly. Just see how much you already use AI. Maybe you use it now as a secretary and somebody who checks your emails before you write them out, before you make a presentation and other kind of things, but it will go faster and faster. Everything where knowledge is the dominant factor, and analysis is the dominant factor, it will outperform us. A doctor can know maybe 10,000 research documents. AI knows them all. And it's not because it's better at coaching, but it just can have a bigger database where it can survey from. What cannot be replaced, what makes us irreplaceable, is three-brain coaching, what we just came aware of partly. It's the state of the nervous system that cannot be cultivated, embodied. And although AI and robots are there, it took us 500 million years to become here. I don't believe that we humans can make in 10, 20, 30 years a copy of ourselves in a robot thing. That will be not possible. It will not kill coaching, to be honest, and I like to be sometimes confronted. It will expose shallow coaching. If you don't bring an added value, except your questions and your analysis and your reflecting, you're done, to be honest. Because everybody can do that. Okay. In my words, I know they're my words, so you're being asked to use your three brains and be fully present. To use your whole system. So not more Descartes or Voltaire, I'm always messing up. I think, therefore I am. But actually, I am, therefore I can show up. Both for the client and the coach, by the way, because everything what I talk about us is also for the client, because all our clients will face this same thing. Because managers, they have to motivate people. And what do most managers don't see as their core job? Coaching. How many of the managers you coach really hate their annual reviews? to talk with their client, talk with their employees. How many times do you talk to an employee? No, you know, the mandatory ones. And that's where they actually can make the difference. To distribute tasks, to make an organizational grid, to analyze what is happening, to check the task, AI will outperform that. It's already doing that for some companies. And by the way, if you like to master it, I know there's a step in, and it is how to become irreplaceable. And I just like to share it. It's not that you have to, but I just like to give you a little gift because you are here. If you ever like to learn it, 3-brain coaching, you can. You use the code and become irreplaceable. It starts in June, an amazing training with me. It's all time zones, so it's in my afternoon and in my morning. So if you're now in the States or in Japan, actually we can touch all your time zones that you're assumably still awake. By the way, for everybody who has to renew their ICF, it right away gives you 40 CCUs. You right away tick all the boxes. The only thing you still have to do is 3 ethical hours, and that you can do in the ICF core competence. That's there. Stay replaceable. And if you like to use your phone, you can right away scan it or not. That's okay. If you like to have the cheap option, because I'm Dutch, so we like to have cheap. And I always be honest in that, just buy one of my books. I would say for a cup of, now not this because it's home brewed, so this is 15 or 20 cents. But if you go to the average, I live in Madrid, if you go to the average place in Madrid, in the center, you almost pay the same for one coffee as one of my books. And that's the cheapest option. And as a Dutch person, I love to say, this is cheap, this is good. And that's also okay. For me, it's not that you have to follow my training or you have to read the books. What I love, and that's really what I love, is that we really keep on doing what we're doing. Because there's one thing, what I did not mention, we are extremely needed as coaches. I showed in a lot of other presentations, the engagement of employees is 30% worldwide. So 3 out of 10 of the employees are engaged in their job. If you would do that in a sports team, every team would lose. This is the Gallup organization research, the Gallup organization. And we spend more than 30 billion euros yearly, or 300 yearly, on coaching. Is spent on coaching yearly. And if you look at the statistics the last 20 years, the engagement did not rise so much. But if you think now about the almost epidemic of burnouts, stressful workplaces, the homework, not homework, we can do something amazing as coaches. We can help all those managers and employees to have a happy life and healthy life. We are really needed for that in the business world. So my passion is that you become the best you can be. Because the better you become, the companies become better, people become better, the world become better. My kids, my grandkids actually are living in a better place than we once started off 30, 40, 50 years ago. We can make this world a better place by doing an amazing job. And therefore, I really motivate you to develop in yourself. So that's my story. And if you didn't do the 3 brains test, go to my website and do the test, please, because then you become aware which of your 3 brains is your blind spot. And that's even for free. That's even not a coffee price. It's just free. And you get, by the way, a 1-page personalized report back.
I already did it.
Oh, I'm going to look for you, Ariana.
No
I'm going to look for you. Yeah? So that's my thing. I do a stop share. We still have some 10 minutes. Questions, Q&A, things you like to know, things you like to... I'm already 8 years a 3-brain coach, and I developed it. I'm the founder of it. So if you like to squeeze my brain, please do so. Dan, thank you for your beautiful words. And helping your AI fears is good. We're better than that. But questions. Oh, may I have the code again? Oh, yes, of course. Okay. Now you see my right away. I get almost nervous. This is this. Yeah, content to share. Okay. You can still see it, I hope. Because I'm now doing something extremely quick. And I don't know where. Okay, so you still see my slides now, eh? I'm just no, you don't see my slides. Oh, okay. Let me see, what did I do now? There. Oh yes, there I am. Now you must see them. It's true? Okay. Yeah, this is, say, what you now saw happening is a gut-brain response. My gut-brain score is rather high, so I do quick and impatient and did not think it through about share. So, okay, click share quick. Without testing, what kind of share do I do? That's the head brain question. I did not check that. Something I'd like to ask in the last minutes we have, we can shoot whatever. By the way, you know, you have the presentation, you have my website. If you have ever questions after this, because think I'm not going to ask my questions in this meeting, because maybe I'm perceived as dumb, or this is a crazy question, or I don't know what to say, you can always email me and I'll always come back to you. You have to run? Okay, Chris, that's good. Have a good 10K run. But I don't think you mean with that. Leona.
Yeah, I put one question in the chat, but maybe
Okay.
you overlooked it.
Now, but based on my quickness of actually sharing the screen, I totally missed it.
Yeah.
Okay, please could you say it again?
Yeah, I want to ask if, you know, is it preferred, you know, AI coaching, is it preferred in one niche over another?
Now, what I come aware, that I coach a company who say in the, let's call it in the tech world, they use AI also for questioning skills and coaching skills. They use it, say, they're all tech savvy, and IE is really an in their own system of the company, and they actually have a personalized Q&A set for ANI where they can ask all the normal questions, all this kind of stuff. So a lot of the people I coach there don't have basic coaching questions, but they really have something really to dive deep. Yeah? So in your role, Leona, has also medical coaching, you will always be needed there, because then they know, oh, Leona, I have a little sore tummy, and according to whatever kind of things, it could be A, B, C, D, what could help me more, or whatever. And they come aware much more of it. So we and I come much more, say, in the deep personal stuff, the biology. When they somewhere got stuck, after the logic stops, I enter.
Right. But because I noticed that some people, you know, feel very comfortable Googling their symptoms and, you know, listening to ChatGPT or, you know, to other internet research engines to, you know about their symptoms, diagnose themselves personally. Sometimes it's, you know, embarrassment. Other times it's, you know, convenience, you know, just Googling, you know, what.
I could not put everything in there, but you know, Leona, we all have belief systems or limiting belief systems. A limiting belief cannot be changed by AI to make it extremely black and white, because a belief system is not logical. A belief system is connected with an emotional learning phase, trauma or other kind of things. Now, just look around you in Beirut. How many people are not traumatized by what's happening there from the last 3 years or 20 years?
Everyone.
And that is not solving by logic anymore. You need something more. And there is where we could step in massively. Now, of course, as coaches, we don't step so much easily in trauma. It's more therapy work like you and me. But even then, say, belief systems, I'm not good enough. I cannot change that. I'm not as smart as my boss. I cannot tell that to my boss. My boss works 24/7. How can I even complain about, say, that I have too much on my plate? All those belief systems are not logical. They're emotional. And when the emotion steps in, we become much more important than AI ever can be.
As long as they don't get normalized, you know, because in some societies it becomes the normal to
Of course,
trauma.
but that's when companies actually, or the person likes to become, say, the best they can be. And normalizing a belief system as this is who I am. Yeah. Oh yes, it's a legal liability for those developers. Yes, you're right, Michelle. It cannot do all the things. But say medical advice and other kind of things, it cannot do those kind of things. And it's good that you tell that, Michelle. There are some regulations, but it's not, and especially also in company ways, what's allowed and not allowed anymore. And it becomes more and more strict because we cannot trust, say, free tools for giving advice that really could have impact on us. So it makes totally sense. It makes totally sense what you're saying there. Yeah, but that's almost, as I said, I had 1 hour for this presentation, so I could not put everything in, but my idea is to make us less fearful for AI, and that actually is a beautiful opportunity to become the best we are. Oh yes, I really think as you become, it becomes also your mentor. That's fun. I love to hear how it works for you, because for me, I love it and hate it sometimes, to be honest. Yeah, but I love it that I hate it, because it means it's really good. Michelle, thank you so much for your feedback. And when I read this, I wanted to bring some really valuable content that you could take away. Yay, there's Michelle. If people follow by training and say that, it means I did something great. So good to see you, Michelle. I should also follow by training, also an amazing woman. You confirmed a lot. Thank you, Michelle Donner. So I love to hear you in the future, or see you in a training, or have a response on my book or something else. Or just said, hey, I did my 3 brains test, Chris. I saw that I don't agree. Why is this? It's also okay. Love to talk to you and help you better. So I wish you an amazing evening, amazing day. Thank you all for being here, for the people who are still here. And see you next time. And maybe, Ariana, I still do 2 other presentations. Maybe I see you also there. And it's good to see you, Debbie. Good to see you, Michelle. Good to see you, Leona. Good to see you, Georgka. I'm going to do a stop share and then click on away from us. But it's good to see you, Lena. Take care of yourself. And also you, Diana. Good to see you. Now I see some faces. Now people drop out. I see some videos back coming in. Good to see you. So I wish you an amazing day. I hope to see you maybe in one of the other presentations I do, or webinars. Ciao.